Please take your seats. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Two remarkably practical readings today in relation to church life. Usually within the Gospels, we expect to hear narrative stories, Jesus doing this or that, talking to somebody about this or that. This reads very much like a letter. You might imagine Paul instructing a Christian community how to maintain discipline within their ranks. But here we have a similar sort of idea put into the mouth of Jesus. And one of the things that I found quite interesting as I was hearing myself read it was that it's very similar to good practice in terms of personnel, human resources, people services, a bit like Doctor Who. Who's your favourite Doctor Who? Depending on when you were at work, you call personnel, people services, human resources, whatever you call them by different names. Whatever you call them, it's good practice to, in the first instance, just have a quiet word. And then if that quiet word doesn't make any difference, then one writes it down. And usually there's sort of a period of adjustment offered. And then if that written doesn't work, then one has sort of more senior sit down with perhaps somebody else from further up the organisation and sets out what we expect, and then if that isn't fulfilled, we then perhaps move towards talking about terminating the contract. One of the things, if any of you have been following the Let Be trial and sentencing and response and reaction, now we can learn more about what was going on before. One of the things that has shocked me is that people were trying to tell people that there was something that was not right, and yet they were generally being told to be quiet. And I'm sure more will come out in the future. I don't want to glorify the woman or what she has done, but it's a fascinating hotbed of psychology about how she could have done such a thing without really showing any remorse. There was a story that Liz and I read of following one or two of the deaths. The team had been on shift, were all in bits, very upset. And so their consultant, their sort of lead, gave them the following shift off and moved things around. But this particular individual, the murderer, said that they were not bothered and they would be able to come back and carry on as usual. And yes, it's extraordinary that they were allowed to go on for so long, and they moved into a place where they had access to sensitive documents and life. It just seems extraordinary. I'm not necessarily saying that it is a reason to worry about the state of the NHS, but an element of that seems to be, part of the discussion seems to be accountability and management. And if the National Health Service is national, we should be able to vote people into and off the decision-making panels and bodies, because our taxes should pay for that, and that's how that circle is squared. And then we haven't actually voted to carry on Prime Minister, but that's probably another story. But it seems to me accountability is lacking at various levels, and our gospel actually says we need accountability within the church. A recent example of that for us is that we discovered over the last couple of years that there was a fund set up by clergy to help people out who were short of cash. And we decided that to make sure that it wasn't just me saying here's a few hundred for you, here's a few hundred for you, that at least two members of the clergy had to agree on that payment in writing, so that Pedro could say, if you've made payment, this is after the fund, this is why it was suggested, and these are the two people who said it was okay. This is why we can't sign our checks and so on and so forth. There are all sorts of other layers of accountability. We need to look out for each other, and it's not just telling people that they're wrong in terms of, if you like, ethical misbehaviour, but we need to have our time out and our time off, particularly if we've got life-limiting conditions. If we've got responsibilities at home, parents and children, and we need to step back. And those of you who are close enough to me, for me to actually have a hand in managing how you do things, you will know that I say to you, you need to put your relationship with God first, your relationship with yourself second, your responsibilities with your family next, and only then let me know how much we can call on you as PCCs to fulfil your functions as ministers or officers. And that that need to step back and take time out can be grievous. Many of you may know that Jimmy has been given a life-limiting condition diagnosis, and many of us have the same or know people who are living with similar sorts of challenges where things will only get worse. Moses set out with great hope that he was going to lead God's people to freedom in the promised land. And it's one of those sort of handful of injustices in the scriptures. He's told he can't fulfill his lifetime dreams and ambitions, his calling, because he hit a rock too many times. You may remember that God's people were mumbling and moaning because they'd had better cucumbers in Egypt and they were running out of water. So if you take it at a historical factual level, they were thirsty. God says to him, go and hit that rock with your stick and water will come out. He does, and it does, but apparently he hits it too often, or perhaps had a grumpy face on or something. He wants to do it in the right spirit. But one way or another, God takes umbrage and tells him that he's not going to fulfil his calling. I don't understand that, I have to admit. But it's one of those handful of stories in the scriptures that just seems a little bit unfair. So one can imagine how we begin to think and try to explore how Moses might have felt up on this hill. He's shown that anything has been on holiday and climbed up a hill, and you can look at that's the beach we were on the other day, and that's a mountain, that's a castle that you may or may not have time to visit. And you can look around, or somewhere where you grew up, you might kind of go and look, be flicking through a photo album, all those memories, all those thoughts, all those ambitions and hopes. This is where Moses was supposed to be going. And he's being shown it before he dies. How does he feel? Does he think, oh my goodness, if I brought them this far, how brilliant, how wonderful, all they've got to do now is go and take it as their possession? Or does he think, if only I had been able to do that? One can imagine passing on the baton, leaving an office at BCC or whatever your role and job is, it's been your life's work. Because you've made a decision, you've got to, as a politician, say, spend more time with my family and step aside. And it might be the case for you, you were just about next year to have that great thing you've been working towards for the last 5 years. You know, when you were given the job, you didn't realise that you're going to have to build a multi-million-pound extension or whatever it is. But you've been working through it. It was just about to have the open day. You know, it's all done, but the opening is going to be next year, and all the promotions going to happen. But we've got to stop now. There are many things, even just on a day-to-day basis. You might get up in the morning and think we're going to do one thing, and then you get a phone call and you have to go and sort out mum's flat, or whatever it might be. Sometimes been up all night being sick, so we can't go to school, so we can't go to work. All those things that might get in the way of what we were hoping to do, especially when that was the thing we've been working towards for so long. And this story is here, at least in part, so that we can recognise that that is part of the human condition, that God is aware. It's interesting to read that they don't know where Moses' grave was. It goes on to say he's the most important person, most important prophet who ever lived, unequalled for signs and wonders. Is that because he was taken up? Throughout the Hebrew scriptures, those particularly special people don't have graves. Enoch, for example. Jesus. There's an expression being taken up, like we say, sort of going topside, going up to heaven. For some of the more important people in Hebrew scriptures and the Christian scriptures, that sort of being taken up, not having a grave, was a sign of significance and importance. I don't know whether it is here, or whether it's just he was forgotten. But it's one of those challenges for us. You may think we're forgotten, but it's like there'll be one or two people, even if we haven't fulfilled our ambitions, who will know that. They may not thank us, but they may talk about the injustice to their colleagues, our colleagues, over a coffee or a beer. They might think quietly, oh, that was unjust, if only they had been able to. But God knows. So let us be kind to each other, help us understand our shortcomings, even if that relates to how well we look after ourselves, and also be generous as we have to give up and step back, whether it's our regular pattern of services that we expect from our church, whether it's the things that we used to be able to do, we used to be able to think straight, and now we no longer can. To recognise that we're not only people who've been in that circumstance, and that it is okay. As community, we need to hold those who are broken and excluded because of their circumstance and things that are beyond their control. Let us, like those consultants in that Lepke case, stand up and speak and shout and continue, even if we're stepped down, told to undergo mediation, told not to tell anybody. May God give us the grace to do the right thing for each other and for the community in which we live. Amen.